Have you seen the cost of eggs lately? With these prices, we'd barely be scraping by if it weren't for Dave. It's the banking app that advances us up to $500 instantly. There's no interest, late fees, or credit checks. No joke. You can get extra cash for anything your family needs. Download the Dave app now or go to dave.com. For terms and conditions, go to dave.com/legal. Instant transfer fees apply. Banking services provided by Evolve. Member FDIC.
Netflix, Amazon Prime, HBO, Showtime. Do you feel like your streaming subscriptions are out of control? Why not start the new year off right and cancel the ones you're not using? Enter the Rocket Money app. Rocket Money organizes your subscriptions by due date and notifies you when something is coming up. From there, decide whether to keep it or cancel it with just a tap. To find out more about Rocket Money, go to rocketmoney.com/gameday or download the Rocket Money app from the Apple app or Google Play stores. Rocket Money, the finance app that works for you.
Bundling and saving with Geico is an easy choice, so you're free to ponder life's big questions, like what's the best animal in the world if not humans? I'd strongly consider ducks to be somewhere up there on the list. Think about it. Ducks can swim, ducks can fly, and ducks can walk on land. They have access to all terrains. They are the ultimate animal. And they wiggle their butts when they walk, which is funny. Yeah, ducks are awesome. End of story. Bundling and saving with Geico. It's an easy choice.
Now on SportsCenter all night. Game 3 of the College World Series as Florida and LSU go head-to-head for the championship.
Breaking ball drilled deep out towards left field. Get out of here, baseball. It does.
A top pitching matchup is Sonny Gray and the Twins go to Atlanta to face Spencer Strider and the Braves.
And pitching. Swinging a high fly to right. That ball's got a chance. That ball is gone.
Verlander and the Mets try to right the ship as they go on the road to take on the Brewers.
Going back is Nimmo. At the track. At the wall.
Plus, the latest news around the NBA as the offseason heats up and free agency gets closer.
It would shock me if he left the Warriors. He knows how much he means to that team.
This is SportsCenter all night.
So the guy that you had number one on that list is not on Keyshawn Johnson's list. Your response.
How is that even possible?
I wish I could tell you.
Here's Jay Reynolds.
SportsCenter all night. ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, Sirius XM Channel 80. Interesting season that the Angels have had. That's straight ahead. But while we're on the topic of baseball, when you get to the championship round at the Men's College World Series, it's a best of three. And we got to see them play all three this week. Granted, game one was the most competitive, the most nail-biting going on. LSU wound up taking the opener with a home run in the 11th inning. Then, of course, Florida came back a night ago. They were on a mission in game two. They put up 24 runs. They won game two by 20. So Monday brought us the decisive game three. How would each team respond from the respective ends of the game two blowout? Florida picking up where they left off on Sunday, scoring 2 in the bottom of the first. Then in the top of the second, LSU does answer.
Swung on, base hit into left field. That'll bring Milazzo in. They'll hold up Milazzo at third, and Tommy White with an RBI single extends the Tiger lead. It's now 4-2. RBI 103 on the season for Tommy Tanks.
Tommy White now passes Todd Walker. He now is in sole possession of fourth place on the LSU single-season RBI list with 103 runs batted in.
Here's the 0-2 pitch to Dugas. Ground ball through the 6-hole. Gets by Rivera, the shortstop. Dylan Cruz coming in to score. It's now 6-2 LSU. Dugas just the seeing-eye single, had enough speed. Halter couldn't get to it. Rivera tried the backhand deep in the 6-hole. It gets through for the RBI single.
LSU Sports Radio Network, 6-run second inning for LSU. They would add more in the fourth.
A 1-2 pitch to Pearson. In the air. High and deep to right field. This baby's gone! Josh Pearson! A rocket shot to right. His fourth home run of the year. A 2-run variety. And the Tigers now lead 9-2 over Florida.
So we got a 4-run fourth after a 6-run second. As if a 10-2 lead wasn't enough of a cushion, in the eighth, Dylan Cruz whips 270 feet around the bases with a triple.
Go ahead and cap it off, kid. Just cap off a legendary career. He had a double at the box in his last at-bat in Baton Rouge, and now a triple in what will likely be his last at-bat as a Tiger, and he is Steph Currying it to the ring finger right there.
Angel Reese of LSU. Women's basketball was the one I think a lot of people certainly watching tonight will remember.
LSU earning the rings. LSU tacking on 3 more in the eighth. And, oh, what the heck, a few more for insurance in the ninth inning.
Strong as well.
A 1-1 rocket shot to right field. This baby is gone!
Let's go!
Braden Joe Bear with the smash, the flip, and a 2-run bomb. Makes it 18-4 LSU. Hey now!
Hey, and after losing 24-4 on Sunday in Game 2, Monday in Game 3, ninth inning, they're up 18-4.
The 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss! And all is right in the world. Tigers win! Tigers win! The national championship is headed back to Baton Rouge. The dog pile begins left of the mound. A promise made and a promise kept by Tiger head coach Jay Johnson just over 2 years ago. Said, I'm here to get LSU to Omaha and back on top of the college baseball world. And after an 18-4 victory here tonight, he has done just that.
All is right with the world. Thought somebody was getting a Red Ryder BB gun. LSU Sports Radio Network, 18-4 the final. LSU wins it, 7th Men's College World Series title, breaking a tie with Texas for the second most in D1 history. USC at the top with 12. Number 7 for LSU, 9th title for the SEC in the past 14 Men's World Series. Tigers head coach Jay Johnson with our Chris Budden.
Coach, you're shaking your head. When you met with this team in August, you said this was possible. How'd they make it into a reality for this team?
Right people, right place, right time. This was the way it's supposed to go. And probably more impressive than winning the national championship is they were national champions every single day from the first meeting till the last pitch tonight.
Some of those right people, Paul Skeens, Dylan Cruz, and a whole group of others that will play their last game in a gold and purple uniform. What has this experience been like coaching them?
Ride of a lifetime. Those guys don't ever come along, and we had 2 of them on the same team, and they're better players than people. They're the leaders of this thing, and I'm literally speechless because all these guys had was the massive expectations all year long, and they met them, and they didn't just meet them by winning a national championship. They met them every single day.
There's a lot of pressure when you take that job at LSU to coach this baseball team and you win a championship. What does it mean to bring a trophy back to Baton Rouge?
Let's go!
LSU, the 18-4 win, 18 runs, the second most scored in a national championship game. USC beat Arizona State in 1998, 21-14. 18 runs for LSU. They did have 24 hits. That's the most in a men's college World Series game. 14-run win, the largest in a championship game. Rice beat Stanford by a dozen in 2003. LSU by 14 in Game 3 on Monday. LSU, first Division I school to win a baseball and a basketball national championship in the same year. Our ESPN crew, Carl Ravitch, Kyle Peterson, Chris Burke.
From the start of the season, everybody identified the Tigers as the most talented team in the country. It wasn't always perfect, but they figured out a formula on the mound down the stretch. And today we saw the talent of this roster shine through. And once they put a 6-spot up in the second inning, it was all Tigers from there.
It's crazy to watch, right? I mean, what we talked coming in is, are they going to have enough pitching besides Paul Skeens? Ty Floyd struck out 27 in 2 starts. here at the College World Series. And ultimately, the rest of that bullpen and pitching staff, one of the main reasons why. How about Paul Skeens throwing Milazzo on his back and taking him out there, too?
He's throwing the team on his back. There's no more dominant pitcher on the planet in college baseball than Paul Skeens, and one we may not see for a long time either.
Now, you talked about the offensive superlatives, and obviously Cruz and Tommy White were a big part of that. Paul Skeens just had one of the best collegiate baseball seasons on the mound that we've ever seen, and caps it off with just a little bit more hardware here in Omaha. Now he's going to hear his name called very, very early here in about 2 weeks.
As individual as these guys can be, the team showed up tonight.
They did. It was the bottom half of the lineup was incredible, right? Then the stars kind of poured it on late. But Dylan Cruz and Paul Skeens, two of the best ambassadors for college baseball that we could ever ask.
Paul Skeens named most outstanding player of the College World Series. 15 2/3 innings pitched, gave up 2 earned runs in 15 2/3, struck out 21. And he's named the most outstanding player. Didn't pitch in Monday's finale, but he's named the most outstanding player.
It was a team win, the whole series. And it's just awesome that we can make it happen. Obviously, I wish I threw, but I'm glad I didn't.
Well, you're a national champion, man. You're going to get a ring, a lot of money here in a month. But how does it feel right now for you?
It literally couldn't have ended any better. Did what we came here to do. And it's awesome that we get to experience this.
Yeah, Paul, you transferred over from the Air Force to LSU because you wanted to win a national championship. You met some new teammates. You developed a bond for the rest of your life. What does it mean to you personally to go through what you went through this season?
Everything. Obviously, I developed as a player, but to meet the people that I did and to accomplish it with these guys, it absolutely means everything.
Okay, how close were you to coming in? You went to the bullpen, you did a little work. How close was it?
We had to be within 5 or 6 runs, I think, and it wasn't quite there.
No, I would say it wasn't, Paul. Congratulations, man. It's been a joy watching you. Best of luck down the road.
Thank you. Congrats, buddy.
Wasn't quite there. LSU by 14 in the championship win over Florida Gators. Third time they've lost in the national championship game. Their head coach, Kevin O'Sullivan.
We had a great season. One game is not going to define, the hard work and, all the accolades that our team has gotten, both as a team and as individuals. Certainly right now is very disappointing, but it's certainly not going to take away from the accomplishments that these guys, to my left and everybody else that's in the locker room right now. So, yeah, it's a hard pill to swallow right now, but glad we had an opportunity to come back, play for a national championship, and I would expect us to be, in the same spot next year.
Game 3 on Monday. Florida had their first 2 hitters of the game get hits and score. Gators had 3 hits after that. LSU, national champions. Sports Center all night, ESPN Radio. Paul Skeens with that impressive College World Series for LSU, 21 strikeouts in fewer than 16 innings. Speaking of racking up strikeouts, how about Atlanta's Spencer Strider? Another 10 strikeout performance on Monday, 10 over 7 innings. His 11th career game with double-digit Ks. He has 146 of them this season, third most by a player aged 25 or younger prior to July 1st since 1893. He took care of the pitching, and he did get some offensive support.
Ray winding and pitching, swinging a high fly to right. That ball's got a chance. That ball is gone. Marcell Ozuna has put the Braves in front of the bottom of the 7th. 1-2. High fly ball. Deep to left field. Wave. Bye-bye. Ronald Acuna with a bat flip and a 2-run blast. And it's 4-1 Braves.
4-1 the final. 680 the fan with the call. Braves beating the Twins. Acuna 1 for 3 with his 17th homer. Drove in 2. He's homered in 3 straight games against the Twins. Braves have won 6 straight games in which Spencer Strider has started. It was all the way back on Sunday that the Mets really stumbled as they headed towards the finish line.
Popped up, center field. Marsh is there. And the Mets' 42nd loss of the year is their most horrific.
as the Mets bullpen melts down.
That was Sunday. Embarrassing loss on SNY. Monday, Mets facing the Brewers. Justin Verlander getting the start for New York, goes 5 scoreless. As for that bullpen, Drew Smith on the hill for the 6th.
Weimer, a high fly ball, deep center field. Going back is Nimmo. At the track, at the wall, gone! Joey Weimer flips this game. It's 2-1 Crew. Fastball at 96, right down the middle. And Weimer sent it right back out where it came from. Played Pepper with the batter's eye in front of the apple. Brewers looking for that big hit. They just got it from their rookie. Welcome to New York, Joey Weimer.
And that's the difference in the game. 620 WTMJ. Brewers a 2-1 win over the Mets. Brewers' 5th straight win against New York. Brewers are 13-4 in one-run games. Weimer, the 2-run home run, his 11th this season, and it's the difference in the win over the Mets, who snap a 19-game win streak when their starter goes 5 or more scoreless. Justin Verlander, 5 scoreless innings, a 5-hit ball, but he and the Mets lose again.
I don't think anybody saw this coming, man. Disappointing. It's disappointing for everybody in this room. I know it's disappointing for the fans. Just gotta just keep trying. If there's one thing that I know the guys in this room are doing is trying our ass off. It is, every day we come to the park, myself, it's trying to get better and figure out what's off. And I know that most of the guys in this room are the same way. And, hopefully it clicks for everybody, but, we gotta get going, and soon.
Certainly some frustration, exasperation maybe in Verlander's voice. Mets are 5-6 this month when they score first. Straight ahead, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. You know how it goes. That's next. SportsCenter all night. It's ESPN Radio.
Coming up on Tuesday, who'll be mad at me now when I pick the top 5 running backs in the NFL? We continue to rank them. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, Tuesday morning at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
This is SportsCenter all night on ESPN Radio.
When picking a commerce platform, you have 2 choices.
Oh, you piece of...
Or...
Yeah!
I prefer... Don't you? That's the sound of selling on Shopify, the all-in-one commerce platform that supercharges your selling. Online, in person, on social media, and beyond. Why battle inferior platforms' weak tools?
You...
Lack of brand control.
That looks like...
And limited integrations.
Would have helped to know this.
Stop leaving sales on the table. Join the millions of businesses around the world growing on Shopify and get the industry-leading tools from the best converting checkout to powerful order management features. Gain control with code-free site design and harness Shopify's limitless integrations for limitless growth. Shopify.
Less. More.
Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/play. That's shopify.com/play. Shopify.com/play.
With summer in full swing, now's the perfect time to head to the ballpark. Score great deals on great seats from our friends at Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN. Every crack of the bat, every diving catch, every heart-pounding play. Experience it live, in person, from the first pitch to the final inning. Vivid Seats has a huge selection of MLB tickets, and they're the only ticket company that rewards your purchases. For the best selection of 2023, shop now. Just visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats. Experience it live.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you know that these days, generating growth is a challenge. By teaming with Bank of America, you'll not just stay ahead of the curve, you'll move it. With access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2023 Bank of America, N.A.
For adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy, now there's Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months, and Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Nothing in me go hand in hand. Nothing on my skin, that's my new plan. Nothing is every day.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, you could achieve 90% clearer skin. Ask your doctor about the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who pay attention to every little detail, the ones who fuss, tinker, and sweat the small stuff. Because you know the tiniest thing can make the biggest difference when it comes to keeping business moving. We get it. We're the same way, offering access to product experts to help you quickly and easily find what you need. So whatever your industry, you know you're always getting professional-grade products. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Did you know YouTube TV is more than cable for less than cable? That's right. YouTube TV has no long-term contracts or hidden fees, and it even lets you catch up to the live game with key plays. With a lineup of over 100 channels, you can watch live TV like cable. Signing up is simple. Get started in minutes. So what are you waiting for? Try it free today at youtube.com/NBA23. New users only. Terms apply. Cancel anytime.
Sports Center All Night continues with Jay Reynolds.
Sports Center All Night presented by Progressive Insurance. Vegas Golden Knights celebrating their Stanley Cup win this spring and, of course, throughout the summer. That's the team award from this past hockey season. As for the individual honors, those were celebrated on Monday. And there's the headline, and then there's the story. The headline, Connor McDavid wins his third Hart Trophy as the NHL MVP. Highest scoring season by a player in more than a quarter of a century. That's the headline. The story, Connor McDavid was not a unanimous selection. He fell one vote short of being a unanimous selection. Okay, so there's someone who didn't vote for Connor McDavid at number 1. The other vote went to Boston's David Pastrnak. But McDavid was not number 2 on the ballot. He wasn't number 3 on that ballot or number 4. He was 5th on that one ballot. He receives 195 first-place votes and 1 fifth-place vote. Regardless, it's his third Hart Trophy as the MVP. He also wins the Ted Lindsay Award as the NHL's most outstanding player, as voted on by his peers. The Oilers captain led the NHL with 64 goals, 89 assists, and 153 points. That's the most points since Mario Lemieux in the 1995-96 season. Boston, which had that record-setting season, did take some awards. Jim Montgomery wins the Jack Adams Award for Coach of the Year. Patrice Bergeron wins the Selke again. He's the NHL's best defensive forward for a 6th time. Linus Ullmark wins the Vezina as the league's best goaltender. Bruins also making a roster move Monday, trading former Hart Trophy winner Taylor Hall to Chicago. Big deal? Earlier on ESPN Radio, Amber Wilson and Drew Carter.
Big deal. I think more so what it means for the Bruins than the Blackhawks. Boston is now in sell mode to get under the salary cap because last year's team was so good, almost too good. Now they have too many good players that are too expensive. So if this is the beginning of the Bruins splintering, I think maybe they missed their window last year, losing to Amber Wilson's beloved Florida Panthers in the first round. That might have been it for them as a serious Stanley Cup contender. And now, as I say that, I'm sure they'll be back with a bang next year and will probably make some noise, just like the Tampa Bay Lightning did after they were the best team in the league. And then they lost in the first round. They came back and won back-to-back Stanley Cups. So maybe that's what the Bruins will do. But I think it's a bad sign for their future. And really interesting for the Blackhawks. Like, for those who don't know, Bedard is an almost Wembanyama-level prospect. This guy has been billed the next McDavid for the last couple of years. He's unbelievable. Playing with guys older than him by a couple of years, he was the best player on the ice in international play. he is special. And so you pair him with a former MVP in Taylor Hall, who always gets traded for nothing, despite the fact that he's a really good hockey player. That's big for Chicago. So, yes, big deal for both teams.
Yeah, I mean, Chicago obviously has been on a downturn now. It's the third year in a row that they haven't broken 30 wins. This feels like this all ends up turning around for Chicago with the direction that they're trying to head. Hall hasn't played at the MVP pace that he did when he was with the Devils, but he's still been a good producer. Last season, he had a lot of injuries, so just 36 points over 61 games, but hopefully he'll be healthy for them this season. This is a big deal.
Boston Bruins making a move, and Chicago on the receiving end, the move giving the Blackhawks winger that they would pair with Connor Bedard, who the Blackhawks are expected to take number 1 in the NHL draft, which comes up on Wednesday. SportsCenter all night, ESPN Radio. Speaking of teams making moves, NFL, see a lot of moves pending perhaps this offseason. Running backs, quite the commodity. Dalvin Cook, could he wind up in New York with the Jets?
They are one of the teams that we've heard connected with possibly Dalvin Cook, along with the Miami Dolphins. But I think with these running backs, there's so many, guys like Ezekiel Elliott, Leonard Fournette, Kareem Hunt, all still out there as free agents. I think it's going to take a little while, get closer to camp, maybe even after camp starts for some of these guys, and then see what the market is like. But yeah, if he's the apple of someone's eye and that happens to be the Jets, sure, Garrett Wilson could see that dream come true. But if the Jets are looking to add a running back, they got Breece Hall coming off a season-ending injury. It may be they're looking to sort of beef up that room. He's somebody that's obviously intriguing.
ESPN's Dan Graziano, of course, the Jets wide receiver Garrett Wilson would love to see Cook there.
Dalvin Cook, man. So for me, I don't know like Dalvin Cook since he was at Florida State, and I was a Florida State fan growing up. So obviously, I'd love to add some of that talent, but the front office is gonna make the right decision, and Dalvin got to do what's best for him. I don't know. I'm just speaking on my love for him and how he plays the game. So obviously, I would love to play with someone like that.
Jets, of course, added Aaron Rodgers as well this offseason. What a year it's been for the Angels. That's next. It's ESPN Radio.
Greeny. It's the greatest postseason any player ever had. It does not make him the greatest center of all time. One of the elements of becoming an all-time great player is doing it for a long time.
Weekday mornings at 10 Eastern on ESPN.
MLB fans, when you need tickets to catch your favorite team live all season long, Ticketmaster's got them. As the world's largest ticket marketplace, Ticketmaster has a wide selection of seats available and at competitive prices, so you never have to worry about missing a game. Take yourself out to the ballpark this season and get tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/MLB. That's Ticketmaster.com/MLB.
Fitz and Harry on ESPN Radio.
They knew they were going to get Victor Wembanyama. I think it's the perfect situation for him to succeed, but also the perfect situation for him to understand that everything doesn't have to happen right now.
Coming up Tuesday, I'm going to tell you which NBA team needs to win a championship next season or else risk missing their window entirely. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, Tuesday morning, 6 Eastern, ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, and ESPN2.
The Hoop Collective Podcast.
Well, I do believe that they are going to play Chris Paul as their backup point guard. They also have a potential trade chip that they can use down the line.
You could argue they have $70 million in expiring contracts between him and Klay Thompson, if you really want to look at it.
By moving Jordan Poole's money off of the books, they open up the possibility of retaining Draymond Green and Klay Thompson. It becomes more feasible.
The Hoop Collective Podcast. Listen on the ESPN app or wherever you listen to podcasts.
We all crave the NFL content, and we are in debt to Bill Barnwell for providing it. ESPN.com today, your top playmaking groups revealed. It's an annual thing, and the presumption, just for those that aren't familiar, you presume average coaching, average quarterbacking, average O-line play. We understand that that's not the case, but that's what we are using for the exercise. And with that in mind, you've identified the San Francisco 49ers as having the top playmaking group. Obviously, their quarterback is not their strength, but you believe across the board they've got the best group. Why?
Scott, because they are so good with the ball in their hands after the catch. And we saw this isn't some hypothetical thing. We saw this last year during the second half of the season when Brock Purdy was their starting quarterback. It was Christian McCaffrey making linebackers miss. It was George Kittle running people over into the end zone for a hot second half. It's Deebo Samuel running away from defenders in the postseason. They have so many pieces that individually, one-on-one, or taking advantage of mismatches can absolutely pick apart opposing defenses. Kyle Shanahan helps.
Yep.
Brock Purdy is a little better than I think we gave him credit for. But at the end of the day, you put the Niners with Patrick Mahomes, you put the Niners with Joe Burrow, I think if you put the Niners with anybody else, they would look more impressive than any other playmaking group in football.
Frightening to consider that Debo thought his year last year was garbage.
Yeah.
So he's entering into this year wanting to prove a point after what happened last year. You mentioned Joe Burrow. You believe that the group he's got is the second best group. I'm looking at Chase, Higgins, and Boyd, and I'm asking you, is that the best wide receiver group in the National Football League?
Ooh.
Pretty close, isn't
That's
it?
a tough one. I mean, maybe you give credit to the Eagles with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, maybe the Dolphins with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle.
You're saying two people there. I'm saying three people here.
That third person does seem like it makes a tiny little bit of a difference, right?
It can be stressful when unexpected expenses come up, but Dave can help. Dave is the banking app that could help you get up to $500 instantly with extra cash. No interest, late fees, or credit check. Join the millions of people who have downloaded Dave and get up to $500 instantly with extra cash. Download the Dave app right now or go to dave.com. For terms and conditions, go to dave.com/legal. Instant transfer fees apply. Banking services provided by Evolve. Member FDIC.
Netflix, Amazon Prime, HBO, Showtime. Do you feel like your streaming subscriptions are out of control? Why not start the new year off right and cancel the ones you're not using? Enter the Rocket Money app. Rocket Money organizes your subscriptions by due date and notifies you when something is coming up. From there, decide whether to keep it or cancel it with just a tap. To find out more about Rocket Money, go to rocketmoney.com/gameday or download the Rocket Money app from the Apple app or Google Play stores. Rocket Money, the finance app that works for you.
Sports Center All Night continues with Jay Reynolds.
Sports Center All Night presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive can help you protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, RV, and more. And if something wasn't mentioned that you had in mind, find out if it can be covered at progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE, because it probably can be.
Half-hour headlines on Sports Center All Night.
Connor McDavid wins another Hart Trophy, his third. Atlanta Hawks are trading forward John Collins to the Utah Jazz. Another rout to end the Men's College World Series.
Rocket shot to right field. This baby is gone. Let's go. Braden Joubert with the smash, the flip, and a two-run bomb. The 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, and all is right in the world. Tigers win. Tigers win. The national championship is headed back to Baton Rouge.
Right people, right place, right time. This was the way it's supposed to go.
LSU with an 18-4 win over Florida in the decisive Game 3 in Omaha. 7th Men's College World Series title for the LSU Tigers. 18 runs scored, second most at a national championship game. On the SEC Network, Ardari Noka with analyst David DeLucci and Todd Walker.
What a difference a day makes. 23 hits, 24 runs for Florida yesterday. LSU tonight, 18 runs, 24 hits. They turned it around quickly. 6 runs in the second on the way to a national championship.
Yeah, you know, last night after the offensive onslaught by the Florida Gators, you were wondering if it was going to be the first team that flinched today that was going to end up losing. Florida came out early 2-0, and LSU answered back with a 6 spot in the second inning, and they didn't look back.
Absolutely incredible performances up and down the lineup to overcome the Wyatt Langford first inning home run, especially on the heels of a 24-4 loss the day before. And they absolutely hammer Florida, scoring 18 of the final 20 runs in this game. Great pitching performances all around, starting with Thatcher Hurd. How do you begin to describe the importance of the incredible start he gave them?
You could see Thatcher Hurd's confidence gaining ground every start he made. He had the 12 strikeouts in the regional. He had 6 strikeouts in the 6 innings he pitched here. Coming into tonight, you kind of felt like the entire season would land on Thatcher Hurt's back, and he delivered tonight. 6 innings, only the 2 hits, first 2 hitters of the game, and he recovered from that. The moxie that kid had tonight to give the LSU a chance.
Yeah, I mean, he's on the center stage, and oftentimes players can fall because of all the pressure and all of the nerves going on. But Thatcher Hurt, as Todd said, towed the rubber. He pounded the strike zone. His last 3 appearances, he had 11 strikeouts coming in. Tonight, 7 strikeouts on the night.
You guys both know this. I know, Luch. You went to Ole Miss, of course, but you're a Baton Rouge native. You, of course, I can't walk anywhere with you without you getting stopped. What is this going to mean, and how will Paul Skeens be remembered in LSU history, even if it's 1 year?
It was the greatest pitching performance by any college pitcher in history. Set the SEC and the LSU record for strikeouts in a season. The combination of Paul Skeens and Dylan Cruz, who had probably the best season of any hitter in LSU history. What a combo. What a year for LSU.
You know, it was always must-see TV, and I remember every Tiger fan or every fan that had the potential to watch Paul Skeens pitch would say, you've got to go see this guy. You will never see a talent like this. He is big, he is physical, he is intense, and he throws over 100 miles an hour. We saw him in Game 1 of the College World Series, 46 pitches over 100 miles an hour. Game 2, a little over 16 pitches over 100 miles an hour. It was just absolute dominance all year long, and he was such a pleasure to see.
LSU, first Division I school to win a baseball and a basketball championship in the same year. 3rd team to win the national championship, despite being outscored in the Men's College World Series finals. They were outscored 31-26. Sports Center all night, ESPN Radio, back in the bigs in Anaheim, Angels and White Sox. And, well, guess who makes the highlights?
3-1 delivery, and this is lifted high in the air. It's hit deep, and it is going to go out to right center. Monday night at the Big A, showtime, and we're tied at 1.
Wow, this is some kind of bomb for Shohei.
446-foot home run, his 8th homer this season. That's traveled at least 440 feet. That homer coming in the 4th inning. By the 9th, we're tied at 1. So we'll fast forward to the bottom of the 9th. Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani with walks to open the inning. 1 out later, Trout is at 3rd. Ohtani's at 2nd.
Here's the next pitch. It's low. It gets away from the catcher. Grabs all. Trout will score, and the ball game is over. So, boy, what a gift win tonight. A walk-off win for the Angels on a wild pitch brings in the winning run. Mike Trout from 3rd base. And the Angels come away with the victory tonight here at the Big A. Win it by the final of 2-1, and you can put a halo over this one.
Angels Radio, AM 830. Angels with the 2-1 win over the White Sox. Angels' 2nd walk-off win this season. Both walk-off wins have come on wild pitches. Angels are the first team since the Padres in 2021 with multiple walk-off wins on wild pitches. Mariners and Nationals.
And the right-hander's 1-0 pitch on the way to Wong. Swinging a fly ball deep into the gap in right center field. Going, and this one is going to be off the top of the fence. Ford rounding 3rd, he'll score. Colton Wong in at 2nd with a 2-out RBI double. It just continues. It's the Mariners 6 and the Nationals 3. 3 runs are in with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Seattle Sports 710 a.m. Mariners go on to an 8-4 win over the Nationals. Washington now 6-16 this month. This was, though, the first game this season to have leadoff home runs by both teams. Tigers a 7-2 win over the Rangers. Texas now on a 3-game losing streak. Remember that Reds 12-game win streak? Whoo, that was a while ago.
Here comes the 2-1 pitch. Line drive, base hit center field. McKenna around 3rd. He will score. A 2 RBI base hit for Austin Hayes. And the Orioles take a 2-1 lead. 2 balls, no strikes. Here it comes. Fly ball, center field. Fidel over on the run. He won't get there. All the way to the wall it goes. Santander around 3rd. He will score. They hold Hicks up at 3rd. And it's an RBI double for Ramon Arias.
And it's a 5-1 Oriole lead. And yes, Mr. Splash is still up, getting them wet out in left field.
5-1 at that point. Orioles go on to beat the Reds 10-3. WBAL with call. Orioles 28th comeback win this season. Reds, meanwhile, lose again. Third straight loss since having that 12-game win streak. Sports Center all night, ESPN Radio.
It would actually be the perfect timing for Portland to move on now that they do have the heir apparent.
I hear a lot of speculation around Draymond Green and Dame Lillard spending a lot of time together. Can that be possible for Golden State?
The best thing he can do is leave the Trailblazers, because maybe he can go somewhere where he has the shot at the championship he obviously wants.
If Damian Lillard says, I don't think we can win with this roster, then I'm going to say, well, it's your choice. Do you want out? And let him make the decision right there.
A lot of decisions to be made in the near future. The NBA draft is in the rearview mirror. Free agency getting underway this week. Two main questions surrounding Dame Lillard. That in a moment. But speaking of decisions being made, the Hawks making a move. Atlanta clearing significant salary cap space by agreeing to trade forward John Collins to the Jazz for veteran Rudy Gay and a future second-round pick. Collins has been in trade speculation during the offseason, leading up to the draft last week, now finally being dealt to Utah. ESPN insider Adrian Wojnarowski.
This has been one of the longest running, most exhaustive trade discussions for one team in the league, and finally moving off of a player in John Collins. This has been going on really for 2 years, and finally reached a deal with Utah today. They talked for well over a year, a lot of different iterations of a deal. But I think a combination of the new collective bargaining agreement, the new second apron for salary tax, for luxury tax, it just made a marketplace where simply John Collins' contract did not have value to get you assets back. And for Atlanta, that's going to be okay. They are going to remain really active in trade talks. Virtually everybody among their veterans, except for Trae Young, has really been part of the conversation for the Hawks. They want to improve this roster. That's Landry Fields' mandate. But now John Collins goes to a Jazz team that suddenly I think is a real Western Conference playoff contender with a very young core, lots of draft picks ahead of them. They're set up well in Utah.
25-year-old Collins scoring in double figures in each of his 6 seasons in Atlanta. Collins certainly talked about for a minute. Ditto for Damian Lillard. Seems to be a discussion that comes up this time every year. And two main questions surrounding Damian Lillard in Portland. ESPN NBA reporter Nick Friedel. Where will Damian Lillard play this upcoming season?
If I were putting money on it right now, I would still say Portland, because that's all he's ever said to me, to everybody in the media who covers the NBA. I want to be there. I want to play in one jersey. I want to find a way to make it work with the Trailblazers, and I'm at peace with the fact that I may not win a title there. But it's one thing to say that over the next couple of years, and it's another thing to go, okay, you can get to seemingly wherever you want if you force Portland's hand. What we're going to find out here, whether it's a week, whether it's a month, whenever he decides, it's how badly does he want to win a title.
So that's the answer to where will Lillard play this season. The other question is, where should Lillard play?
If it's me and I'm looking at this, I'm going to Miami, and I'm pushing to get there, because that's the other key. Miami on the whole, they don't have the pieces right now that Portland say, okay, let's do that deal. It's Tyler Hero. It's a couple first-round picks. If Dame says to Portland, I want to go play with Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, he's also saying, give them time to get a few more assets to make it worth everybody's while in some potential deal. The issue for Dame is he's always been the guy that's kind of said, well, I'll find a way and it'll all be okay. He doesn't seem to want to rock the boat. If you really want to win a title, though, the opening is there for you not only to do that, but to push to get through to make whatever move you want happen.
So Damian Lillard may not want to make the tough choices. That may be up to the team. Earlier on ESPN Radio, our Courtney Cronin.
But I think that Damian Lillard, the more I've pondered this, I don't think he wants to make the hard decision. He needs somebody to help him get out of his own way, because the writing's been on the wall for a while. He's coming off a pretty good season for himself this past year. He needs Portland to say, we're going to do right by you. we're going to move you to Miami. I look at this situation and it feels only like it's a matter of time because Portland's not in a place right now to do anything other than develop Scoot Henderson and develop a young team. Trading for Zion Williamson sounded great in theory, but you can never trust somebody who has not been available for their team less than half the game since they've been in the NBA. It's not fair to Damian Lillard to make him stick around and go through that. Do right by him if you're Portland, because he's honestly, for whatever reason, not able to do it himself and say, hey, please move me.
And if that decision does get made, how about the trade packages that could be out there? ESPN front office insider Bobby Marks.
I think when you look at a big picture, we all know what the Heat can offer, right? Miami can offer 2 first-round picks in 2028 and 2030. They can offer Tyler Hero. They can offer expiring contracts. I don't think you want to part with Caleb Martin. That's basically, you're not trading Bam Adebayo or Jimmy Butler. That's basically what Miami could offer. I think Brooklyn's interesting. If they want to jump in that deep end again, they can offer 4 unprotected first and maybe just expiring contracts. Maybe they send out Nick Claxton in a deal and Lillard would walk into a roster with Mikal Bridges. And if they sign Cam Johnson and Dorian Finney-Smith, is that much better than what you have in Portland? I don't know if there's a wild card team out there. I don't think it's the Lakers or the Clippers or Golden State or one of those teams. I'd be interested if Damian Lillard's at a point of his career if he wants to go play with Victor in San Antonio.
Regardless of the outcome, the ESPN analyst Kendrick Perkins just wants to put it to bed.
Last 3 or 4 years, every single season, we're talking about if Dame is going to force his way out or is he going to go find himself a contender to play for, whatever the case may be. And the answer is, I don't know what Dame wants to do, but I know that I'm actually tired of talking about it because unless he's going to walk in and say, I'm ready to get it done, then Dame is just going to be in Portland, putting up numbers, winning some games, maybe making it to the playoffs and having an early playoff exit. That's it. It's nothing that the Portland Trail Blazers could do to add someone to that roster to make them a championship contender.
We'll see what kind of answers we get in the coming days and weeks, especially with NBA free agency beginning in a couple of days. Straight ahead, the frustration in New York. That's next. SportsCenter All Night continues. It's ESPN Radio.
Coming up Tuesday, where's the best landing spot for Damian Lillard? What about Draymond Green? You're going to hear my answers on Keyshawn J. Willimax Tuesday morning at 6 Eastern, ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, and ESPN2.
ESPN Radio Sports Center all night. More next.
Will they find a home? Sponsored by Geico. Sarah wants a yard. My own little paradise. Brad, however, hates yard work.
The only thing I hate more than cutting the grass is paying someone to cut the grass.
Compromise is tough, but these two won't have to compromise when they bundle home and car insurance with Geico. It's easy, and they could save even more. In the end, Sarah and Brad found a great home with a yard. A very, very small yard.
Time to get it done. And I'm done.
Bundling without compromise at geico.com.
When picking a commerce platform, you have 2 choices.
Oh, you piece of...
Or... Yeah! I prefer... Don't you? That's the sound of selling on Shopify, the all-in-one commerce platform that supercharges your selling. Online, in person, on social media, and beyond. Why battle inferior platforms' weak tools?
You...
Lack of brand control.
That looks like...
And limited integrations.
Would have helped to know this.
Stop leaving sales on the table. Join the millions of businesses around the world growing on Shopify and get the industry-leading tools from the best converting checkout to powerful order management features. Gain control with code-free site design and harness Shopify's limitless integrations for limitless growth. Shopify.
Less. More.
Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/play. That's shopify.com/play. Shopify.com/play.
With summer in full swing, now's the perfect time to head to the ballpark. Score great deals on great seats from our friends at Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN. Every crack of the bat, every diving catch, every heart-pounding play. Experience it live, in person, from the first pitch to the final inning. Vivid Seats has a huge selection of MLB tickets, and they're the only ticket company that rewards your purchases. For the best selection of 2023, shop now. Just visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats. Experience it live.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you're always looking for ways to position your operation to create opportunities and move on them faster. With Bank of America, you get access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2023 Bank of America, N.A.
For adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy, now there's Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months, and Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Nothing in me go hand in hand. Nothing on my skin, that's my new plan. Nothing is every day.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, you could achieve 90% clearer skin. Ask your doctor about the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Sports Center All Night continues with Jay Reynolds.
We're taking you to Key, Jay, and Max, 6 o'clock Eastern time here on ESPN Radio. It's been a world agreement that has certainly resulted in a world of visceral reactions that deal to form the Alliance in Golf, PGA Tour, DP World Tour, and the LIV Series. The framework agreement agreed upon, signed by all 3 parties, gives the PGA Tour full decision-making authority with respect to all strategic and operational matters related to competition. That's how it's outlined in a 5-page document signed by all 3 parties. It was sent to a Senate subcommittee, which is looking into the alliance ahead of a hearing coming up next month. WNBA on Monday, the Aces beat the Fever by 8. 88-80, the Aces win again. They're the first team to go 13-1 in their first 14 games of a season since the Lynx did it in 2017. Aces with their 12th straight home win dating back to last year. On the baseball diamond, the Brewers edged the Mets 2-1. Brewers' 5th straight win over the Mets. The Mets saw Justin Verlander go 5 innings of shutout ball, but the Mets snapping a 19-game win streak when their starter goes 5 scoreless. There is frustration in New York. Manager Buck Showalter.
It's frustrating. We got to figure it out. We talk a lot about it. I can tell you, it's not like we're just saying, case Farah, it'll osmosis will take. No, it's every day. You know, they look at things and experiment and try to get, look at last year and its good outings, bad outings. Believe me, they're grinding on all these things, and we are in general. But that's what makes it frustrating, because we just can't carry it over into the game. It's kind of like Jeff looks great hitting and this and that, all of a sudden one at bat or one pitch, and there's some anxiety sometimes sets in. We got to work through that.
Mets have had 11 games this month where they score first. They've lost 6 of those 11. At the other end of the spectrum, there's the top sounds, and for that, let's turn to Jim Basketball.
Number 5.
Jay, the Mets certainly are not getting bang for their buck. Both their skipper and record $344 million payroll, dropping 8 games below 500. Just one big swing was enough to hand them their latest loss. 620 WTMJ.
Weimer, a high fly ball, deep center field, going back is Nimmo. At the track, at the wall, gone! Joey Weimer flips this game. It's 2-1 Crew.
Number 4.
He's considered baseball's best player, not only because he has ace talent on the mound, but because Shohei Ohtani is a middle-of-the-order bat who also leads the bigs in home runs. Angels Radio, AM 830.
3-1 delivery.
And this is lifted high in the air. It's hit deep, and it is going to go out to right center. Monday night at the Big A, showtime, and we're tied at 1.
Number 3.
A day after giving up 23 hits in a blowout loss, LSU banged out 24 hits in a blowout win, scoring 18 runs as they barbecued the Gators. LSU Sports Radio Network.
Strong as well.
The 1-1 rocket shot to right field. This baby is gone. Let's go.
Braden Joubert with the smash, the flip, and a 2-run bomb.
Number 2.
In a matchup of first-place teams from opposite leagues, the Atlanta Braves' Ronald Acuna Jr. showed off his extreme talent with the game-sealing blow against the Twins. 680, the Fan.
1-2. High fly ball. Deep to left field. Wave. Bye-bye. Ronald Acuna with a bat flip and a 2-run blast. And it's 4-1 Braves.
Number 1.
And for the 7th time in school history and first time since 2009, the LSU Tigers are Men's College World Series champs. One more time from the LSU Sports Radio Network.
The 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. And all is right in the world. Tigers win. Tigers win. The national championship is headed back to Baton Rouge. The dog pile begins left of the mound. A promise made and a promise kept by Tiger head coach Jay Johnson.
LSU putting up double digits in the national championship game for the 3rd time in their history. Sports Center all night, ESPN Radio. A lot of eyes on Friday, which will bring with it the start of NBA free agency. There are players available, or are they? Might they just return to their current team? Or perhaps they go back in time. How about James Harden returning to Houston? ESPN insider Bobby Marks.
If Van Vliet comes off the board, and if he's the first free agent on June 30th, then who's Philadelphia negotiating against? That's going to be interesting to me. $213 million is a lot of money for James Harden. I mean, you look at, with him and Embiid and certainly Maxi's extension eligible here, the finances will get, certainly high, but you let him walk, you're not a better team. It's almost like a gap year to next year. What happens with Embiid? But at the end of the day, you don't want to be stuck with a $213 million contract.
Number of marquee names to keep an eye on in the coming days with the NBA. It's Tuesday, June 27th, birthday of Tobey Maguire. Spidey is now 48. So how will impending free agency change the look, the balance of power in the NBA? Key, Jay, and Max have more. They're next. I'm Jay Reynolds, back tomorrow with Sports Center all night. It's ESPN Radio.
Coming up next, Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
MLB fans, when you need tickets to catch your favorite team live all season long, Ticketmaster's got them. As the world's largest ticket marketplace, Ticketmaster has a wide selection of seats available and at competitive prices, so you never have to worry about missing a game. Take yourself out to the ballpark this season and get tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/MLB. That's Ticketmaster.com/MLB.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who pay attention to every little detail. The ones who fuss, tinker, and sweat the small stuff. Because the tiniest thing can make the biggest difference when it comes to keeping business moving. We get it. We're the same way, offering access to product experts to help you quickly and easily find what you need. So whatever your industry, you're always getting professional-grade products. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Did you know YouTube TV is more than cable for less than cable? That's right. YouTube TV has no long-term contracts or hidden fees, and it even lets you catch up to the live game with key plays. With the lineup of over 100 channels, you can watch live TV like cable. Signing up is simple. Get started in minutes. So what are you waiting for? Try it free today at youtube.com/NBA23. New users only. Terms apply. Cancel anytime.
Jason Fitz and Harry Douglas are Fitz and Harry.
We're joined now by 12-time All-Star guard Chris Paul.
Harry, how are you, though, by the way, man?
I'm doing good, bro. Good to talk to you, man.
You too, Fitz. You probably don't know. We didn't know each other since we was kids.
Harry has made that clear. Harry knows everyone. Harry immediately was like, I know CB3. Jaw dropped, yeah.
Harry and Tony, they dad used to do a tournament in Atlanta when we was kids.
Fitz and Harry, weekdays at noon Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. Mike Greenberg is Greeny.
Green Bay has the longest odds to win the NFC North. And once upon a time, they demonstrated that you get a quarterback in, learn from a legendary player. They have an offensive coach who I think knows what he's doing. Unless they just missed so badly that it's unimaginable, I think Green Bay has a real shot to be in this thing all the way through the season.
Greeny with Mike Greenberg. Weekday mornings at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Plus, you can watch and listen on the ESPN app.
A developing story into NFL Live with some major news out of Buffalo. Stephon Diggs was not on the field for the start of mandatory minicamp.
How concerned are you about that?
Oh, very concerned.
Internally, we're working on some things as an organization, maybe not communicating the right way.
When you say we got a problem, it's even a bigger problem. When it becomes personal, you then have to regain trust. Something is wrong in Buffalo.
He's a Buffalo Bill, and we're going to work it out.
Lots more on that Stephon Diggs drama in a little bit as we welcome you into NFL Live. And Dan Graziano, joined today by Rob Ninkovich and Mike Tannenbaum. And we start in Buffalo, where the Bills today announced that they've extended the contract of head coach Sean McDermott and general manager Brandon Beane through 2027. Well-deserved reward for two men who have completely turned around that Buffalo franchise. When McDermott and Beane got there in 2017, Bills were stuck in a 17-year playoff drought. But they've made the postseason in 5 out of the 6 years under the current leadership, and their 4-year streak of 10-win seasons is tied for the longest in franchise history. The only other time they won 10 games 4 years in a row was when they made it to 4 straight Super Bowls in the early 90s. So, Mike T, it's really very impressive work here for Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott in Buffalo, what they've done. What do you think is the biggest reason they've been able to turn things around there?
You know, Graz, obviously it starts at the quarterback position. They traded up in 2018 and drafted Josh Allen. And candidly, being in the AFC East for many years, be it the Jets or the Dolphins, playing Buffalo, look, they were competitive at points, but they were small and undersized on defense. But more fundamentally, they had no answer at quarterback. And when Josh Allen walked through that door, it gave them instant credibility. And more importantly, it gave them a chance to win every game. Then they also hit on another really big trade. Stephon Diggs acquired him in a trade with Minnesota. And then some really smart draft choices.
This is Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
What happens on the show is we have so many characters of people that work behind the scenes and work with us. And one of the best characters we have is Alan Yates, who started this conspiracy theory multiple years ago, which is being proven correctly.
It's unbelievable.
That it always precipitates in New York or the Northeast on Tuesdays.
On Tuesdays.
Beep, beep. Who got the keys to the Jeep? I'm driving to the beach.
Yeah, but I don't think it's
radio.
a conspiracy theory because it happened. Well, that's what
On
I'm saying. It's
Tuesday.
being confirmed.
Yeah, he said
It's
the
every
button broke.
Tuesday. I look out. It's raining snacks. The government cannot fool me. The button is broke. Every Tuesday.
We're in the Truman Show. It's Precipitation Tuesdays.
Every Tuesday.
I feel the wind. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 9, 10 begins. I sit on heels like
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, ESPN Radio. Morning, guys.
Max was ready to kick the field goal.
Time out. Yeah, there was that long pause in the production. I thought, oh, no, wait, there's more. Time to go. But you know what? I got to say,
Great production on the way in.
it does seem, and, it's anecdotal, I get it, but it does seem that it does rain more on Tuesdays.
I really think Alan Yates was on to something here. I mean, it's a bigger theory. Alan, would you like to dive into the bigger theory? Is it governmental control? What is it really?
You can't let you got to let Yates talk just enough to sound. Oh, there's something to it, but if don't let him, don't give him too much rope. Now, go ahead, Yates.
Hey, Max, they already told us they confirmed that they controlling the weather. So all those thunderstorms last night that was shaking houses.
Why do you think the government wants it to rain on Tuesday?
Ask the pigeons because we don't know.
Well, it's that, and then to add to the New York conspiracy theorists, like you don't see any baby pigeons.
That's not true. I have seen them.
I've never
when's the
seen a
last
baby
time you
pigeon.
saw some
The government let me
fireflies?
see some baby pigeons recently because I think I probably said it on the air, right? And then they let me see some, supposedly
What
by
do they look
happenstance, just to throw me off their case.
It's like the phone was listening to you. Great.
Like little pigeons.
Have you seen a firefly lately, like the lightning bugs?
See,
Not
haven't.
recently, no. Last summer, I saw a couple.
a couple.
Yeah, they used to be
seen many
around
this
more.
That's what I'm
Right?
saying. As a kid, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
there's thousands of fireflies. Now you see a couple.
Might that be because when you're a kid, you might be out and about a little bit more in nature?
But even if you go in and park and you go at least see one of them Jones, you would think floating around. I haven't seen that.
Well,
I don't know what's going on.
Floating around.
Yeah, but you're not out at night.
Yeah, we're always out.
No,
I'm
not
always
in-
out with my
not in
kids
the-
at
not
night.
in the- well, you in the burbs.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I haven't seen a firefly in 2 years.
Maybe there's an issue with fireflies. Look it up.
It's been a grip, man. I got something. I need answers.
Everything is the government. Y'all are.
I
can't.
But,
But
it is.
first of all, stay off the internet. That's
What do you mean?
Yeah, that's the
Like,
main thing.
you're
Internet
going-
detectives.
you're
Here we go.
Internet detectives. Just stay off the internet.
Well, I mean, look how they gather all the information, though. I mean,
Stop though.
what do you mean?
They're
I mean, go
tracking
to
your
the
phone.
airport,
I
like,
get
put your
it,
retina
yeah.
here. We'll scan your eye. No, I don't want to scan
Maybe that's
my
what
eye.
happened to my retina.
See?
Y'all.
There you go.
Government
Put
hit
your
me with a
fingerprint
laser.
hand. Put your handprint here.
Yeah.
They do it. They follow
Easy
you.
pass. Go ahead.
Yeah.
They want to follow you. Out of everybody in the world,
Yeah,
they're going
right.
to follow you. They want
Yes.
to know what Jay Will is actually
7.5
doing
billion
daily.
people.
Come on.
Gotta
But,
keep
you
a
know,
track on some people. don't
Joe from the middle of nowhere is convinced that the government is after him.
Like, what are you doing that they want to follow you?
Yeah.
Like, what are you seriously
I just don't
doing?
like them selling all my information. That's all. That's all.
Let me tell you something.
Don't put it in your phone.
As
Well, your phone is listening to you. You don't even know
your
how to
phone
work
is
your
listening
phone.
to you. That is true. That is true.
Both of you.
That is true. Not only is the phone listening to you,
Turn
but it's
off
updating your
a
face
lot
constantly.
of the stuff in there.
See,
Yeah.
that comment alone lets me know that you don't know how to turn off anything on your
No,
damn
I got
phone.
stuff that's turned off that I don't need on.
What apps?
I don't know necessarily apps. I just know how to go in there.
This is what you need to know about Keyshawn
I know how to
Johnson.
go into the settings and turn the stuff off.
Here's what you need to know about Keyshawn Johnson. Key,
Locators and all that stuff.
Key, do you have any close relatives who do not own a cell phone who are adults?
Not anymore.
I guarantee you Key's location is on his phone. I guarantee you it's on.
No, it's not.
Let me see your phone.
100%.
I guarantee your location is on. Go
Yeah,
to
I'll
the
give
settings
you-
and go to
no,
location.
No, hold on.
Speaking of locations,
Guarantee
what's
it's
Damian Lillard's location going to be when the season starts?
Okay, let's see. Location.
Yeah, Damon Lillard's location, it's going to be Portland.
Really? You think so?
Oh, when the season
When the
starts.
season starts.
I think it's going to be Miami.
Me too.
I think Aaron Goodwin goes in there yesterday and had that conversation.
Impressive.
Well, it's not impressive. I told you. I don't need you tracking me. But I would think it's going to be Miami. It's at the point in time in his career, as great as he's been to Portland and in that environment, in that region and all those sort of things. He's at a stage in his career where he's made all the money. Now it's time to chase. It's time to chase the ring. Because if you sit in Portland, it's a young team.
They ain't bringing it to
They
you.
got to
Yeah.
do him justice, Jay. It's not like he's in his fifth year and he's saying, I want out of Portland. They understand, they would respect that. And I think many people want to see him, and many people are basketball fans and basketball savants and things of that nature. They want to see him go have an opportunity to really go chase one.
And by the way, Jay, I'm with it. He's 33. He's been completely loyal to Portland, but I don't think you can build up all that equity and shoot it just to marginally increase your chance. If you're going to say, I want to move, you got to go somewhere where you realistically can win a championship. That's Miami. Isn't it Miami? You're going to say Brooklyn?
No, I'm going to say Portland.
Really?
Look, man, Dame is cut from such a different cloth. And I know people are getting annoyed because it always seems like there's something that they want him to leave Portland, or he wants to put pressure on the organization to surround him with pieces to win. But I do think Dame, and like there's all these reports that came out over the weekend about Dame doesn't want to be paired up with a big three. He just wants a chance. He wants to have a chance. I think Dame rather have that chance in Portland than go somewhere else.
Problem
So
with
the
that,
thing
They don't have a
is,
chance.
listen, if you're Joe Cronin, you have these picks. Can you get a guy like Draymond Green? Can you re-sign a guy like Jeremy Grant? I'm not saying that is all the answers, but can you start surrounding Dame with some pieces that give him a fighting chance for him to stay in Portland. Because I do believe at the end of the day, Dame wants to stay in Portland.
Staying in Portland, OJ, and surrounding him with pieces to stay in Portland, and you said it at the same time, is not giving him a fighting chance.
But I will say that I want
to
get to MB, but I will say this. Usually, like if you get to Chris Paul's stage of your career, you win a championship. It's not the same as if you did it when you were Chris Paul, right?
No, that's not true.
Hold on. It's not the same in terms of the way people remember you. Isaiah Thomas remembered differently than Jason Kidd.
If you are playing and you're not just a guy on the team.
Well, that's what I'm saying about Lillard. Lillard has a chance to do something maybe unique, where even if he's not at the height of his powers by the time they get there, if they build right and he stays there the whole time and eventually he's still a good starting player and they win, that'd be something, has that ever been done before by a superstar? Where toward the back end of his career, he never left, and eventually they built it up, and he won one, within the last couple years of his career.
I can't think of one. The person I can really think of is John Elway in football.
Right.
But he had gone to.
He had gone to them. Yeah.
I don't see Dame as a ring chaser. I don't.
But it's not about chasing the ring. It's about Portland being able to get the type of players that it would take to win a championship, even come out of the West, let alone win a championship.
But see, I think Dame just wants to have a fighting opportunity. I don't think he wants the odds to be stacked in his favor. I just think he wants Portland to show him that they're in on helping him have a chance to get there.
So while we wait for him to decide his future, are the 76ers going to force Joel Embiid to be the next superstar to ask for a trade? The Knicks, the Lakers. Hold on, everyone, calm down. Here's Nick Friedel, ESPN NBA reporter, on Get Up on what could happen if the Sixers don't get out of the second round. They don't get to the conference finals, okay? Listen to Nick.
It's not going to be a question about Harden. The question that is bubbling underneath the surface is, what happens with Embiid? If they bring Harden back and they say, all right, let's try it one more time. We've got Nick Nurse in here, Doc's out, change of pace, change of voice, and they still get knocked out in the second round. At what point does Joel Embiid stand up and go, you know what, guys, it's just not going to work here? And I can tell you a team right here, right now, that would love nothing more than to package every asset they got to go and land Joel Embiid in the future. And it's the Knicks.
What? Boy, y'all like selling it to Knicks, huh? OJ?
Well, traditionally, the Knicks always get the big available superstar, of course. That's why they have 17 championships. Wait a minute. That's not the Knicks. What do you think, Jay?
I mean, we've been talking about this. So we've been saying this for the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. When is Joel Embiid going to get impatient with the way the organization is run? It would be hard for me if I were Daryl Morey not to run everything through Joel Embiid. It's hard for me to think that Joel Embiid has not had a say at the table for every decision that has moved forward, so he can have a level of accountability. Mm-hmm. I don't see Joel Embiid moving, because I think Joel Embiid has a seat at the table with a voice that carries a lot of weight in how this organization is moving forward. I do.
Is it a mistake to bring? You're saying, okay, so Harden is the question of the moment. Embiid, of everyone in sports, Embiid wins a championship. He will be remembered. He has done things already, like his last season he just had, historically ridiculous, right? It's in the context of your league. If it was similar to what Wilt Chamberlain did, it's just the league is different now, so the point totals won't be the same. But his point per minute, per possession, all that kind of stuff, the efficiency, the defense, it's ridiculous. You bring Harden back?
I think, well, if he opts out of his deal, I mean,
how long does he have to opt out?
I think until Thursday.
So Thursday.
I think until Thursday.
He always waits to the end, right?
Well, opt in, opt out. So, like, the reality, though, is he opts out. I don't know how you don't bring him back. Like, unless you're able to sign a guy like Fred VanVleet. But, like, at the same time, like, if you're having these meetings between Harden and Joel Embiid, like, they have true chemistry. So I think you try to bring him back on a team-friendly deal. You know, I don't know if James Harden is going to allow you to do that.
How many team-friendly deals is he going to take?
Well, he took a team-friendly deal to help you get here in the first place.
That's what I'm saying. So now you want him to do it again? At some point,
you're going to pay him a Supermax?
But at some point,
the problem, you see, they're already trying to move Tobias Harris. You saw what they were trying to move Tobias Harris for. I don't think anybody's going to bite on that.
So the Sixers come one bounce away from Kawhi, that shot not going in. They advance and maybe win a championship that year with what happened to Golden State, right? NBA Stats sent out a tweet. What if you could have a player with, this is Embiid in the playoffs, playoff LeBron efficiency, playoff Kobe scoring, playoff Shaq rebound percentage, playoff Duncan block and steal percentage, playoff Duncan and LeBron plus minus, and playoff Steph on off. That's Embiid. Like, it's both ends of the floor. It's ridiculous. You got to put the right pieces around this guy.
Well,
they got to figure it out.
You need Maxey to be that. You need Maxey to be your second prolific scorer.
Yeah, and by the way,
James
he's
Harden
so
is
young
better
to be this
suited when
good already.
he is an assist guy. He's a let me set guys up, give you a game here or there. The problem is he knows his value, and the problem is he also put Philly in the corner. He knows he has leverage.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Has the process worked? 888 say ESPN.
And overall, I thought we were starting to get it done. You could see the change in the culture.
This entire process started by losing. As far away as they've tried to get from trust the process, there's still the losing stench in that organization.
This is Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
It can be stressful when unexpected expenses come up, but Dave can help. Dave is the banking app that could help you get up to $500 instantly with extra cash. No interest, late fees, or credit check. Join the millions of people who have downloaded Dave and get up to $500 instantly with extra cash. Download the Dave app right now or go to dave.com. For terms and conditions, go to dave.com/legal. Instant transfer fees apply. Banking services provided by Evolve. Member FDIC.
With groceries and housing costs at an all-time high, you're probably looking for new ways to cut costs in the new year. Like no more trips, restaurants, movies, basically no more fun. There's a better solution. With Rocket Money, you can track your spending, cancel unwanted subscriptions, and lower your bills. Users save an average of $720 a year. With Rocket Money, you can get your finances back in black, so you don't have to stop doing everything you love to do. To learn more, go to rocketmoney.com/gameday or download the Rocket Money app from the Apple app or Google Play stores.
FX's hit series The Bear returns.
I'm opening a restaurant. Gotta go hard every day.
The show the critics call the most anticipated new season on TV.
We have equipment that works. That's a great start, everybody. 0.
This place is going to take 6 months to open.
6 months?
That's being
What, confident?
cocky. Crazy.
FX's The Bear. All episodes now streaming. Only on Hulu.
Yo, check this out from Canty and Carlin.
When I look on social media, somebody wishes you a happy birthday, and then you retweet it with a comment, or you go ahead and repost it on Instagram. Oh, look, somebody wished me a happy birthday, and all of a sudden you've got 55 Instagram stories of somebody wishing you a happy birthday. We get it. You're special. Let's celebrate something that happened 27 years ago. You were born. Get over it.
Canty and Carlin, weekdays at 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. The Baseball Tonight podcast.
But I also see, like, off in the distance on the horizon, this monumental battle for American League MVP.
The Baseball Tonight podcast is on the ESPN app or wherever you listen to podcasts.
And overall, I thought we were starting to get it done. You could see the change in the culture.
This entire process started by losing. I don't think that's how you can build a culture. As far away as they've tried to get from trust the process, there's still the losing stench in that organization.
If they get to the second round again and they get bounced, why wouldn't Embiid sit there next year and go, hey guys, we don't have enough. I want out of here.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max were presented by Progressive Insurance. But has the process worked is the question in Philly. Whether or not you like it, they took advantage of the rules, which rewards bad teams with draft picks. Joe Fortenbaugh, who's ESPN radio host, of course, Fitz and Harry. You heard him coming in, but let's listen again about what he thinks of the process in Philly.
The franchise has never gotten away from their losing culture. This entire process started by losing. Hey, everyone, stick with us here. We're going to do a ton of losing, but don't worry. Once we're done losing, we're going to start winning. I don't think that's how you can build a culture. As far away as they've tried to get from trust the process, all that early losing and tanking, there's still the losing stench in that organization. And they, as a culture and as a franchise, cannot get past it. And you see that every year in the conference semis when they can't raise their game. They don't have the toughness. They were not outplayed in game 6 by the Boston Celtics. They completely fell apart in the last 6 minutes of that game, cost them from advancing.
I sounds like a real sour fan.
I totally disagree with that.
Yeah.
I totally disagree.
I remember when Villanova couldn't win a championship until they won a championship.
Right, yeah.
Like, and Jay Wright, it's like these narratives always exist for certain teams. Like they get so close and they just can't get over the hump. And then all of a sudden they win a championship. And now all of a sudden Jay Wright, years later, is considered one of the greatest coaches college basketball has ever seen. It's funny how that narrative changed very quickly.
But I was just listening to Joe right there and about the toughness and this, that. Toughness had nothing to do with the ball bouncing 8 times before it went into the hoop.
Yeah, and they probably win the chip that year.
Yeah, so yeah.
But like really, I think it's the opposite of what he said. The process was working so well because they were like, we're not going to tank for a year or two. We're going to tank for like 5 years. We're going to get every draft pick. And then once we have all this capital, it's like you roll a boulder up to the top of the hill. That's all potential energy once it gets to the top. Then it's kinetic energy when you throw it down, right? It starts rolling down. They were rolling it up. And what the league saw was, not that it wasn't working. This is going to work, and it's going to incentivize other teams to do the same thing. And we can't have a league where half the teams are tanking for 5 years. So remember what happened. Hinkie was there. The league pressured them to put Colangelo in. Colangelo made several bad moves, spending all that capital they built in draft picks poorly, unwisely. But there was so much of it. They're still a good team, just not as good as they might have been.
They made some mistakes, Jay, from a personnel standpoint, letting guys get away, drafting Ben Simmons, doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
And Ben Simmons was okay there for a while.
He was great at
He
first.
was fine at first. But then when you allow Jimmy Butler to get away, you make a decision to let him walk out of the door. All of those sort of things is why the process hasn't gotten them a championship.
Colangelo, they slammed Colangelo, they forced them down their throats, and they did it in a way, not because they were afraid the process wasn't going to work. They were afraid it was going to work. What does that do to the league? They couldn't have it. So they put Philly in a worse situation than they should have been in. If they leave Hinkie alone, then eventually when he's ready to make the move, or if you don't think it's him, the team goes and brings in the right person to pull the trigger on those moves. They are a powerhouse, but they're even better. And then no one's saying, the process didn't work. The process wasn't allowed to work.
They won a lot of games.
Yeah, and they're really good.
I mean, I see nothing. I mean, look, do fans get frustrated with Philadelphia? Sure they do. I mean, but this team has all the makings of a team that can win an NBA championship.
Yeah,
They're not like, if Embiid doesn't get hurt a couple of times, you're looking at a different scenario.
Or as Key said, if they just, instead of Tobias Harris and Ben Simmons, they're like Jimmy Butler, they probably already won.
But by the way, I mean, with all due respect to Jimmy Butler, the reason why Jimmy Butler is able to work is because of the environment set by Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra.
Well, what was wrong with the environment in Philly?
I'm not saying, but like, look at the other environments. Minnesota, look at what happened even in Chicago with Tom Thibodeau, right? Like, it takes a certain personality for certain players to actually be built the right way.
But that's right.
You know
but
what I mean?
when you
So,
look
like,
at Minnesota, he didn't vibe with Cat, right? But he vibed with Embiid.
Do you think if he's on that team with Doc Rivers, do you think Doc gives him some of that same, I don't know, leadership that maybe he got in Miami?
Potentially. I'm not sure how ownership deals with that too. Like, and how all that factors in together. Like, Jimmy's cut from a different cloth. Jimmy is not for everybody, y'all.
But he was
reason
for
why
Embiid.
he's been around 2 different teams. Like, Jimmy feels like he's more the personality that Joel Embiid will follow.
Yeah.
And the question is right now, does Joel Embiid follow James Harden, or is James Harden following Joel Embiid? I actually think it's the former, right? Like, that's kind of the problem a little bit. So from a league guard perspective.
Has the process in Philly worked? I would argue the process wasn't even allowed to work, but it was so good that it's, as Key says, kind of working
But
anyway.
How long do you need the process to? How long did you need?
The league needed not to put pressure on them to pull out the GM that was doing his job and put in a GM that didn't know what he was doing.
They were a bad
Jerry
team.
Colangelo?
Yeah, Colangelo didn't know what he was doing.
But they were a bad team, Jay. They were losing, right? So they got their draft picks. They drafted people. And they've been in the playoffs literally every single year since they've been good. Literally. That worked. Just hasn't delivered a championship.
If they would have grabbed Daryl Morey, if they're like, all right, enough, Hinkie, let's go get Daryl Morey, I bet you they would have won 2 already. Jess, in Philly, you're on KJM. What do you think of the process, Jeff?
How you guys doing? First time, long time. I think the process is like, I'm a fan of the process. I think that it's gotten us, as far as we've gotten, I don't think any other situation would have gotten us any further. I agree with what you're saying, Max. It's like when you have a field of plants. You're planting seeds, and you get that gardener, and you fire that gardener. The next gardener is not going to know what to do with those seeds.
Yeah.
Well,
that Colangelo he didn't know what he was doing, and it's frustrating because a seed like Ben Simmons develops, and if they're going by the plan that Hinkie had laid out, then they should have taken care of Ben Simmons by the plan, and that's what they did. And that obviously was the wrong move, and we chose Ben over Jimmy, and I think that was the problem with the process. I don't think the process, it's like a 15-year plan, you know what I mean? And
you can't wait 15 years. You can't wait 15 years. That's too, but the league could not have half the teams tanking 5 years in a row, so they stepped in, basically, is how I view the events.
As long as that big dog is there, the process is working for me.
Yeah. So, I mean, Philly has had 4 50-win seasons over the last 6 years, right? I mean, 6, 7 years. I mean, come on, man. One season they had 49. They finished top 3 or 4 in the East.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, what are people talking about?
That's what I'm saying.
So, like, I hear what people are saying, like, you're close and you're trying to get over the hump. By the way, like Rome wasn't built in one day. So there's a process, right? Like Milwaukee won their first one in 50 years because of Giannis. Like, so, and like with the exception of that, like it's been Golden State, it's been Miami with these big 3. Like
they haven't made a final.
But you got to think, though, Jay.
I hear you. Boston's made 1 final.
We live in the microwave world. People want it instantly.
Yeah.
They sat in tank for 4 or 5 years or whatever they were doing. People expected when they came out of that to win a championship.
And by the way, they came close already. When you really look at events, they could still win one. And I'm saying if Brian Colangelo doesn't get in there, I think they probably already would have won at least one. All right. 888 say ESPN. The Hawks made a trade yesterday, but should they consider moving Trae Young? KJM.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
A special shout out to one of the great athletes to ever come out of Los Angeles, LA's own native son, Mr. Keyshawn Johnson.
This is Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
When picking a commerce platform, you have 2 choices.
Oh, you piece of...
Or...
Yeah!
I prefer... Don't you? That's the sound of selling on Shopify, the all-in-one commerce platform that supercharges your selling. Online, in person, on social media, and beyond. Why battle inferior platforms' weak tools?
You...
Lack of brand control.
That looks like...
And limited integrations.
Would have helped to know this.
Stop leaving sales on the table. Join the millions of businesses around the world growing on Shopify and get the industry-leading tools, from the best converting checkout to powerful order management features. Gain control with code-free site design and harness Shopify's limitless integrations for limitless growth. Shopify.
Less. More.
Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/play. That's shopify.com/play. Shopify.com/play.
Will they find a home? Sponsored by Geico. Susan has always wanted to live in a chateau.
I like a certain je ne sais quoi.
While Jake is more into the Cape Cod style home.
It's a classic look.
Compromise is tough, but these two won't have to compromise when they bundle home and car insurance with Geico. It's easy, and they could save even more. In the end, Susan and Jake found a Cape Cod style home where they will only speak French.
Bonjour, je t'aime, merci beaucoup, and cordon bleu.
You'll get better with time.
Bundling without compromise at geico.com.
With summer in full swing, now's the perfect time to head to the ballpark. Score great deals on great seats from our friends at Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.